we conclude this episode with a little discussion of Spider-Man No Way Home?
Yes.
In which
first,
case, you might want to turn.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Spoilers
This
are coming
video.
up, so turn this off or pause it and go watch the movie.
If you don't want to hear
and then
anything
come
about
back.
Spider-Man No Way Home, turn this podcast off right now.
Right now. We're going to give you some time to turn it off, but
no time. You can
definitely
pause.
go
You
watch
have all
that.
this time. All right.
Now, Daniel, you said after you watched it that it was very special.
I did.
In your opinion.
It was. It was very
I
special.
was just like,
It was awesome. It was, I think, one of the best movies I've ever seen.
yeah, it was fucking.
It hit a good spot, man.
But
and I got a couple.
It's because
points, though, about that.
we're talking about games, nostalgia.
Yes.
Nostalgia.
Is that why we think that it's one of the best movies? Does that
Probably.
make it any less valid?
Not to some
I'll tell you
loser
this.
critic.
I remember in high school, I skipped an afternoon in high school to go see Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire. We went to fucking theater. My friend had his license. We were like 17. And it was awesome, and we loved it, even though that movie is horrible. But it's
Yeah. It's
it
awesome.
was sweet at the time. I'm a
was
huge
great.
Spider-Man fan, obviously. I love the games. I love the comics. I've read, 800 Spider-Man comics. I've played all the games, watched all the movies. But like this brought Tobey Maguire
all
back.
Yeah.
Bringing Willem Dafoe.
Drew Garfield, Willem Dafoe,
Yeah, I'm just like, and it
Alfred
acknowledges
Molina.
it acknowledges
Dr.
the
Octopus.
memes too, though. The memes
Yeah.
and the fan service was so good.
Yeah.
Like the Tobey Maguire, like his back thing.
His
like,
back. Wow. Yeah.
Oh.
That got me good. That got me good.
Fuck.
So much good shit.
For me, it rivaled the same feeling I got when I watched Into the Spider-Verse, because I was like, I don't know what I like better. I think I still like Spider-Verse better just because of what it is. But there was something about when I watched this movie, I was like, it's got the same energy, scale, the excitement as Into the Spider-Verse did, when like everything's just fucking wacky and fucked up, and you're just like, this is crazy. But it was awesome.
Sweet.
It was awesome.
And you got Jamie Foxx and
Jamie Foxx,
like just and it made everything come together and
Yeah.
make sense because of the multiverse.
Right, which had me thinking, I loved how, because of the whole Sony and Marvel dick measuring, fucking up, sabotaging all these different actors' versions and their stories and timelines and all this crap. It was nice that we finally got some closure and consistency in their stories, to kind of, because Marvel kind of picked up the pieces of at least Toby and Andrew Garfield, and we're like,
I really
okay,
like
here,
Andrew
we'll
Garfield.
put them all in one movie. Yeah, me
He
too.
was really good.
He's great.
Really good. And
So
Like I have
they-
some.
when he saved Mary Jane,
Okay. Yeah.
did you notice
like,
that? Did you notice what happened?
I have a whole bunch of things here, but the one that really took the cake for me was when Garfield saved MJ.
Yeah.
Alma and I almost fucking cried at that point.
Yeah.
It was
Really
so close, man, because he needed that win, right?
Yes,
we
he
were
did.
waiting for that redemption for years, that unsolved story of the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans, right? How he
His
must
biggest
have
failure.
his
that was
failure,
his
right?
biggest
That
And
was
that
his
was
failure.
it.
That was his failure. No, that's what. Yeah.
Right.
And
And it just ended
got to
there.
save
And
her.
since that movie, like we've been just wondering about what the hell Andrew Garfield's been up to in that.
He's been
Will they
standing,
ever
standing at those tombstones, man. He's been standing in the cemetery
like,
the whole time.
That was
That's it.
so powerful. And then whenever he catches her and he lands and you see it in his eyes, right? You see that redemption
she's
and
like,
that win in his eyes, and he realized he
okay?
did it, and it was fucking awesome. It was so powerful, that part of that movie. I was blown away at that part. That was the
Same.
peak.
same,
It was unbelievable. Unfucking believable.
same here. Yeah, that was really fucking good.
Because I
Really
remember when watching the Andrew Garfield in the theater, and he doesn't save her, right? He doesn't save Gwen.
That's
That
how she
fucking
does.
sucks, man.
That's how.
I was heartbroken.
Although
sad.
in the comics it was Green Goblin who who did it, but in Andrew
Well,
Garfield's
technically,
Spider-Man,
It was Green Goblin.
it was Harry, which
It was like,
technically
oh,
Green
yeah.
Goblin.
Oh, was it? Man, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Oh man,
He
and
like-
his movies were pretty. Like I really liked his movies.
Oh no, but it was that guy
too.
from that Chronicle movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Okay, okay.
fantastic. Also, I
Yeah,
don't
he was
remember his name, but he's fantastic.
Yeah, he was good.
He's great.
But
Okay.
that
Right.
that part
Yeah.
just sealed it all with a big
yeah, it was
hug.
beautiful.
You know,
Or when they
It
meet
was
him on the
awesome.
rooftop, of the
Yeah.
school, when he sees them. Ah man, such a good dynamic
Harry-
too, between all of them.
And Harry's talking about it was great. Actually, I like that scene too because Harry was Andrew Garfield's Peter was talking about how he didn't want Tom Holland Peter
to go on
to
the
go
fucking,
rage and start or
Yeah.
stop pulling his punches and just kind of
Mhm.
go ape shit on everybody because he didn't want that same thing to happen to him because it was coming back to the whole Gwen thing because that's what he did after. That was also Nathaniel, him implying that's what happened after
Yeah.
Gwen.
Yeah, they
died
closed
was
it
that
all
he
up
just
for us.
started-
It was awesome.
He started raging and just kind of angry all the time and just, taking it out on people and shit like that. So that was good.
Oops.
It was great.
Butterfingers. Butterfingers.
And I loved how Doc Ock turned good. I love that.
That was
chip got
nice.
fixed. Oh,
That was
because
nice.
he's a good.
Nice
Like
redemption.
they're all pretty good guys, right? Like before they turn evil.
Norman
or
definitely
whatever.
wasn't though. There was something in Norman that I think was like
Because he's a
always
Yeah,
fucking
that's what-
there, right?
billionaire, and he's
Yeah,
a
he's a
sociopath.
fucked
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Yeah,
But all
whereas
billionaire.
Otto was just a scientist trying to make
Yeah.
something good in the world, right?
I mean,
the power of the
he
sun,
was somewhat
the palm
of
of
a
my hands.
scientist himself.
Fuck, that was good.
He tried to build a sun in his living room, man. That was what he wanted to do, just to feel the world.
The power
Um,
of the sun in
yeah.
my hands.
Another point
You're
I
not
had
Peter.
was
Yeah,
yeah. Whenever he's like, "You're not Peter," I was like, "Fuck, that's good." But like
that's cool.
in
It's
this
just
movie,
overall enjoyable.
I found like the Andrew Garfield love story was good. The Tobey Maguire, Christian Dunst was brutal. It was awful.
Christian Dunst.
Christian Dunst.
Whatever her name is.
I don't remember her name. Kristen? Is it Kristen?
Kirsten.
But the way they did
But
the whole MJ
The
thing
way
with
they
Peter was
did
beautiful.
MJ and Peter in this movie was great.
Mhm.
She wasn't like super annoying, in like the first two movies where she's put up that wall, that like tough girl
Oh,
wall.
she's terrible. She was terrible in
I
Spider-Man 2.
know. I know. Yeah, I know. But this one, it was so much better. I liked how they did this because you actually felt that connection between them in this one than the previous two, which made that Garfield scene saving her even more powerful. Was because of that connection Peter had with MJ. You know, the Tom Holland Peter with the MJ that we know, the Jones.
Yeah.
That connection made the Garfield save even better, in my opinion. And that
Reinforced.
that was so sick. And Willem Dafoe was absolutely fucking brilliant in this movie. Like
Attaboy.
I was like, don't trust this motherfucker. Like,
Yeah,
this
I
guy's
knew it was too
fucking
good. I was like,
insane.
he's not just some fucking cripple coming
I
off
know.
the street eating donuts at
Yeah, he's like
May-
packing
Aunt
donuts
May's.
into his
Yeah.
pockets.
Yeah.
But that's what shows like the whole
Osborne?
on and off, right, of Osborn and Green Goblin. Is he doesn't
That's true.
remember, right? He doesn't know
That's true.
the Green
He
Goblin.
technically
side. He's
isn't.
not.
Yeah, he isn't one person. He's two
He's
people.
two completely
that
separate entities.
The Goblin takes over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Kind
that
of
is
like
true.
what
So
Venom
he's not.
is in.
Yeah, he's not
Yeah.
all bad. I guess.
Right? No, he's not really.
The
Until
Goblin
Green
made me
Goblin
do
just.
it.
Yeah.
It was the
God,
Goblin.
he's so good. He's so fucking- and just his face, like when they zoom in on his face and he's got the Goblin in him.
Just
Wasn't
his
he
eyes
like
are so
scaring
fucking
people on
sick.
set or something like that?
I don't know.
Oh,
I didn't
man.
read that.
I thought, who did I hear?
I
that
was getting
from?
chills whenever he turned to Goblin and turned back and forth. Like it was perfect. It was beautifully done. It was so good. He's
And then
fantastic.
there was a couple of good Easter eggs, like fan service, like with Jamie Foxx. And between Jamie Foxx and Andrew Garfield, he was like, when he takes off his mask, he's like, "It's you." He's like, "You from Queens? You saved a lot
Yeah.
of poor people." He's like, "I just always thought you was black, man." He's like, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry." It's like,
Yeah.
there's got to be a black Spider-Man out there somewhere, right?
Yes, the
exactly.
Miles Morales
It's a
one. Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
Which
Easter
which
egg
brings
to
me
Miles
to another
Morales.
question: are they gonna make like a real life Spider-Man with Miles, or are they just
A
gonna keep
live
him a
action?
cartoon?
I don't know.
They probably will. I think.
Yeah, they probably will. I would imagine.
I think that would be sick because
That would be cool.
Because there's
we've
so many
been
like
introduced
phases
into
coming
that.
out of the
Yeah.
fucking.
Yeah.
Like they might even like if Tom Holland doesn't want to do Spider-Man anymore, or they write him out, they bring in
Mhm.
Miles Morales.
Well, because everything's got to end at some point. I don't know when.
I think they ended it pretty good. Like at the end of the movie,
Yeah.
Tom didn't want to try to make her remember, right? So
Yeah,
I think
That's
that was it.
true. Because he told her he would tell her.
And now he's got to live with
would,
that for the rest of his life, right? So now
and he
he's
just
only
saw
living that one life. He's not going to live Peter's life.
technically,
Remember how-
this in the comics is where I started reading. Now,
Oh, really?
because in the
because
comic
MJ's
books,
memory was wiped.
in the comic books, their memory was taken by Mephisto because Aunt May got shot. She got a gunshot wound or something, and Mephisto offered Peter a deal. And Mephisto is like
Right.
the devil, right?
The devil. The
And
devil.
he offered Peter and Mary Jane a deal, saying, "I will save Aunt May's life if you sacrifice your memories and your relationship together." So Mary Jane and Peter would no longer be; they wouldn't have any memory
Jane
of their love,
Mhm.
basically. And they agreed, and they basically remembered only that that Spider-Man or Peter didn't show up to the wedding, like he left her basically at the altar, is how that
Oh.
Mephisto changed their memories. So they're completely split up, yeah, and they don't remember ever, really their whole time together, kind of thing.
Reconciling?
Yeah,
Oh.
like their
Oh.
whole like relationship kind of didn't really exist anymore, and that gave Spider-Man a fresh start, and it was called Brand New Day, and that's when I started reading, which is Amazing
Huh.
Spider-Man like 546 or something, and it was so fucking good because he was like a single bachelor as Spider-Man in New York, and that's when he kind of like, you know, flirting around with Black Cat, and there was a lot of good
Felicia?
yeah, there was a lot of good like single bachelor moments throughout that story arc, and that leads into um Big Time, which is when he kind of like starts his own company. He starts getting like becoming successful. You know, Spider-Man is like Peter Parker's been a fucking loser for how long? Like he's been a poor loser who can barely afford rent, selling pictures of himself to the Daily Bugle. But in Big
Genius.
Time, he becomes successful, and he becomes more like Tony Stark. He becomes rich because he has a company, and that leads into Spider-Verse and Superior Spider-Man with where Dr. Octopus becomes Spider-Man by taking over Peter Parker's body.
yeah.
Super good.
So back to the movie is when Doctor Strange tells him, he's like, "You're trying to live those two lives, right?" And that's what's like ripping you apart here. So whenever he decides not to tell Mary Jane or try to
That's
convince
what
her,
he was thinking.
then he chooses the one life, right? Which is just
Yeah.
Spider-Man, because he's forgotten everywhere else. Everyone else doesn't know Peter Parker exists. He is now just Spider-Man to do Spider-Man things. And now he
There's
knows that
something
if he gets connected to
innately sad
anybody,
in that.
oh yeah. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what the
if he gets
dilemma
connected
is
to
between
anybody,
all superheroes, and that's why they
Yeah.
have secret identities.
yeah.
True.
That was really, really sick. But
Because I guess
you know,
he
I
saw
don't
that
know.
MJ
I don't know if
and,
I would even make that choice. Like being Spider-Man would be amazing, right? But like she could have just been a high school love, right? You know, he
Yes,
could
of
find
course.
some. So
But like he saw how well MJ and Ned were doing, like they got into MIT, I think, right?
Yep.
And he was like, "See, that didn't happen because I knew them."
Mhm.
Because you'd have to remember, you have to think about like how would he relive that? How would he go back up to MJ and try to win
Nah,
her
you
back and because he knows all these things about her, so he'd be manipulating her
He
emotions.
started off
and
pretty
it would
good
be
though in the
weird.
coffee shop there. I think he did
Yeah.
okay.
He did
and you know,
okay.
I was wondering. Remember how in Interstellar, right? Where she says love transcends space and time. Remember that whole scene? I was just wondering, like, what if they pull that love card out and
From
their
Interstellar?
love transcends space and time, and she makes that connection? That's what I thought when she saw him. I was like, oh, and that like connection just happened because love has
Man,
that
there's
power.
a really good scene. There's a really
Yeah.
good
That would
scene
be
in the
sick.
comics. In the comics, there's a really fucking good scene because everyone does forget that this does happen in the comics where I don't remember if it's Doctor Strange. I think it is who does the spell to make everyone forget Peter is Spider-Man. And the Black Cat, Felicia, becomes really weird. Like she becomes a different kind of person, and she becomes kind of a bad guy. And she
Because something was ripped from her.
yes, because
Yeah.
she has feelings for Peter, and they
Oh, and it softened her
disappeared.
up a bit.
And
Right.
it disappeared, but there was like she was something missing, and she became a real villain, and like she wanted to kill fucking Spider-Man. She didn't know didn't remember who he was,
Mhm.
right? But there was a scene where he was with her and he took his mask off, and
Right.
it brought everything back to her, and it was a really good scene. And she like started
She
crying.
saw
She
his
was like,
face.
yeah, she realized what the hell was happening, and he explained it, and it was like something was missing inside her, and she couldn't figure it out, and like it made her insane. And then when he took
Right.
off his mask for her, it like whoosh, it like
Yeah, that's cool.
brought
See,
everything back.
I was hoping for something like that to happen at the coffee shop, but
Man,
no,
the
I
comics
like
are
how they
so
ended it
fucking
as well.
good, dude. The comics are so goddamn good.
I like how they ended the
That's
movie. It was pretty good.
It's a good point because there's a lot of talk like it's not bullshit. I mean, in a sense that, it's a very widely, I think, studied probably if you look it up. I don't know. I'm not a scholar, but there's that notion of energy, right? These things that connect two people through,
Quantum entanglement.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that is in essence the simple word is love, right? That's what Interstellar was
So that's
talking
what she was
about. It's
talking
this
about. Yeah.
this energy that connects these two people beyond dimensions, where it's like because you're emotionally invested and you've had and it
It's that
may
soul
be
link, that energy
yeah,
link that we have above
fate.
all that kind of stuff. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I really like Doctor Strange in it too.
Yeah.
Really good.
His
Benedict.
movies are great.
The only thing I had with it was there was too many parts that were comic relief. I found like there was a little too many. They could have cut a few just to like
Nah, it
bring
was
down the
good.
time of the movie.
I like the
Like-
comic relief though.
Yeah, but I like it to a certain point.
Oh, I mean, Ned is not funny at all. Like his friend Ned.
Yeah,
not
like
funny
just
at
cut
all.
him out of
Just
the movie.
cut him out. Cut that guy out.
Like
funny.
he's just yeah.
And then they
But
show the
the-
final scene, and it's just some dude at the cafe he's like staring at, and it's just like, who the fuck is that guy?
You know, it's funny. Ned Leeds in the comics is the Hobgoblin.
Oh
So
yeah.
in another
Oh, yeah?
universe,
Oh,
Ned
wow.
Leeds is Peter's friend, but he becomes the Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin's
Um,
fucked.
And there was also an Easter egg of that. He was like, "Oh, I wonder if there's
Yes, I
there's
saw
other
that too.
Ned
Yep.
Leeds, or I wonder if there's
Mhm.
another me in
Oh,
other
yeah,
universes."
yeah.
Yes,
I
there
remember
is, and
hearing
he's the
that. I
fucking
remember that.
Hobgoblin.
Electro, I found was weird with the comic relief because it was like
Yeah.
he supplied
Was
some of
weird.
it, and it was just strange because we didn't see Jamie Foxx as Electro as the middle. We saw him as the awkward engineer that he was, that really socially awkward, like
And
skittish.
then the energy being.
And then the energy thing, where he didn't have a lot of lines, he was just a villain, and he was screaming a lot of the time and just shooting He didn't talk a lot. And then there's this weird Jamie Foxx character in this new movie where he is neither of those, and he's in the middle, and he's just a normal dude who's like maybe got more confidence, but he's not quite the skittish, nerdy, engineer he was, because he's got these powers or has had them and experienced them. So he's a lot more buff. He's a lot more, confident.
he was
Whatever.
funny.
So that was weird. But he was funny. It's just it was weird because we didn't see that side of him in any other movie. So it was almost like, was it out of left field or did it make sense? But I feel like he was there a lot for some like quips, like one-off comic relief lines.
I loved it.
That was
I
good.
loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the post credits.
Oh yeah, post credits. So I'm not a big fan of the whole Sony Venom. Like the first movie was. I don't even.
liked
I'm
it.
gonna watch the second one.
yes,
It's
the
probably gonna be
post-credits.
fucking shit.
I don't think you need
But-
to watch it. You don't need to watch anything. The
No, I'm just
doesn't
gonna
have
watch
anything to
the-
do with it. All
I'm
it
gonna
did
watch the
was
second
plant,
Venom movie
because they sent him
symbiote.
home, right? It planted the
Yeah.
symbiote in
For
the
Peter.
MCU.
Yes,
That's what it did.
So that's telling us that Sony is willing to work with Spider-Man and Marvel to get that wrapping up.
Well,
Did
they're
they
already
work
doing
with-
that.
Did they work with Venom, Marvel,
No.
and Sony? No. So that's what I mean. So it's Sony saying, okay, here's the symbiote. Let's work together to make a good Venom movie. You know what I mean? Instead of these two stupid, shitty Venom
I
movies.
wonder is there going to be a new Eddie Brock? Is the Eddie Brock from that universe is going to get
It's
this
Topher
symbiote?
Grace.
No, it's not.
No.
It's because that's from Toby's universe.
Yeah, but it
Who's
has
the
to
Eddie
hit.
Brock
Oh, yeah,
in Tom
right,
Holland's
right.
universe.
Yeah, but it's got to
We don't
hit
know.
Tom Holland first, though. No, like the symbiote's got to take over Spider-Man first,
They can do whatever
then
the
go
hell
to
they want.
Eddie Brock. But they can, yeah, I
Doesn't
guess
have
they can
to.
do whatever they want.
Oh, man,
Hopefully,
Tom
Marvel and
Hardy's-
Sony work together to get a good Venom happening.
Tom Hardy's fantastic. Doesn't matter what he does. I liked Venom, the first one. I didn't see the second one, but I liked it because of him, and that's good. That's a good thing because at least he can carry the movie. It was good entertainment. I mean, it wasn't as good
I
as
just
you
hate
know,
the
some of other
stupid Venom
Spider-Man we
voice.
watched.
Like I hate all this stupid shit.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's dumb. Oh, there was one more. I had another note. The death of Aunt May in Tom Holland's universe. Like it had
That
to
was
happen,
hard.
right?
That was tough.
It had
He
to
needed
happen.
a
sooner or
loss.
later. He needed that loss, yeah.
Because he
And
didn't have
it
an
was-
Uncle Ben.
He didn't have an Uncle Ben. It was his Uncle Ben moment. The other two had their Uncle Ben, and Tom Holland had to
Andrew
have that
Garfield
loss.
had an Uncle Ben and a Gwen moment. Like he was.
He was fucked, man. He got
Suffer
fucked.
loss.
yeah,
Yeah.
like that's why it was so powerful.
Yes,
for him.
another reason why. Fuck, yep. Oh, and he killed Gwen's dad
Yes.
in
he
a,
did.
inadvertently, but
Indirectly.
he was
I
the
don't remember.
Well,
the
he didn't
reason
kill
why.
him, but he
left.
happened to go with him
He had to
Yeah.
leave,
to
didn't
kill
he?
Connors or to take out Connors, but Connors ended up killing him. But the thing is,
Yeah, but he
told
could have
Peter to
webbed-
promise.
No, he could have webbed him to a wall somewhere and went after Connors and fucking self. He didn't have to bring her dad with
No,
him.
but Peter was occupied. Peter was doing something. He was trying to do something, and then her dad, for some reason, was there.
Yeah.
He showed
'Cause he's a
up,
cop.
I think,
'Cause
and
he's
he
a
was
cop.
like, "Why are you here?" I think that's what ended up happening. Yeah, because he's a
Cops should not be fighting mutants. Okay?
cop.
He should fucking know that.
They don't know. No, but they don't know. They're like, "Oh, shotgun will do it. 12 gauge, that'll do it."
Hey, Bob, get the fucking 12 gauge here, Bob.
But
But
he also
one, though,
promised
right?
Gwen's dad that he would
Exactly.
stay away from her. And that was also pretty brutal because he just couldn't keep it. And he was so torn up about it.
Mhm.
You know,
He had a
dude,
rough time.
He was,
He had a rough
was hot and
Spider-Man.
cold.
He's a good character. He was a
And-
good character.
Yeah,
yeah.
he was.
That's
Good
why they were
development.
great movies.
And
They
it
were
all
good
tied it
Spider-Man movies.
in this latest one, and it was fucking fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I might
It
have to
really
watch it
was.
again.
The lightning during the fight scenes with Shocker and all that, like the blacks were so black that the light was blasting me, man. Like the flashes, I was like, "This is awesome. This is fucking sick." And I was just like,
That's that's
It
what
was
OLED is.
awesome.
That's why OLED is so sick.
blinding me. It was essentially blinding me. Like that's how bright the lights were, and it was like,
Specular highlights.
it was fucking awesome. It was sick.